Let's build a simple low poly house in Blender. Start by adding a plane, scale it and tap into edit mode to extrude it a bit. Now add a loop cut to divide the top face unevenly. Now select the other face and extrude it upwards. Extrude again to add more height. Now to form the roof, switch to the vertex select mode. Select the two vertices at one end and merge it at center. Now select the two vertices at the top and move it up on Z axis to increase the height of the roof. Now in face select mode, select the two faces and press P to separate by selection. Then tap into object mode and you see the roof is separated from the cube. Next, scale it a bit on Y axis so it extends beyond the cube. Next, in edit mode, select the faces and extrude along normals. Now to give the roof some tiling effects, add some loop cut about 10. Now select the edge loops and the one on the other side and also the one at the top, holding down on Alt and the Shift key. After that, bevel it and Alt A to extrude along normals. Up next, we'll make the door, so tap into object mode and place your cursor where you want the door to be. Next, add a cube and scale it to match the shape of the door. Adjust the size so it fits nicely in front of the house. So just scale it either on X, Y, and Z axis just to make it look nice. Next, tap into edit mode and select the face. Now press I twice on your keyboard to insert the face individually. Now extrude it inward. We need to isolate the door to be able to work on it, so press the slash key on your numpad to isolate it. Now delete the bottom faces so the remaining parts look like the door frame. Press the slash key to exit local view. Now switch to vertex select mode and select the vertices at one end and scale it on Z axis to 0 so it straightens it just like this. Now move it down again on Z axis and also do the same for the other side. Scale it on Z axis to 0 and move it down on Z axis. This step is just to make sure the door fits and align properly with the house. We can see here the back is not aligned, so isolate it again and select the vertex right there and on the other side and move it down on Z axis just to align properly with the front. Following that, switch to the face select mode and select the face. Press I to insert the face and extrude inward to create the door panel. Now let's add some details to the door. Add some loop cuts and add one horizontally and another one at the bottom. Switch to face select mode and select some faces. Now press I twice on your keyboard to insert the face individually and Alt E to extrude along normals. Repeat the process to create more layer of details to the door, which is inserting the faces individually and extruding it along normal. Now for the top face, add two loop cuts. Now switch to face select mode and select the faces right there. Now also insert the face individually and just extrude it inward a bit. Now press slash key to exit local view and tab into object mode and make some necessary adjustments. Let's make the door handle. So place your cursor where you want it to be and add a cylinder. Set the vertices to 8 and rotate on Y axis at 90°. Scale it to reduce the size a little and add a torus. Reduce the size and rotate it on Y axis at 90 degrees and place it right under the cylinder. Next, for the window, place your cursor where it should be and add a cube. Scale it to fit the right size. Switch to edit mode and go to face select mode and select the face insert it and extrude inward. Insert it again and extrude it inward. Now add the loop cut horizontally and vertically and switch to face select mode. Select the faces and insert the face individually and extrude inward a bit. Next, switch to object mode and make some adjustments. Now let's add window to other parts of the house. So make a duplicate by Alt D so the duplicate will be linked. Now rotate it on 90 degree to the other side and also make another duplicate. Alt D to link it and move it to the other side and rotate it on 180 degree. Next, let's add a beam for the railing. So add a cube, scale it to reduce the size till it fits, then move it up on Z axis to increase the height. After that, make a link duplicate and move it to the other side. Moving on, let's make the plank. So add a cube, scale it on Z axis to flatten it and on X axis to give it a thin look. Make some minimal adjustment and scale it on Y axis till it fits with the length of the house. Now with the necessary adjustment made, move it to the front of the house and also make link duplicates. Alt D to make link duplicates. So make duplicates so it covers the front of the house. Now let's add another cube for the structure of the railing. So place your cursor right there and add a cube. Scale it and move it up on Z axis. Also scale it on Y and X axis to give it a blocky shape. Now make some link duplicates. Duplicate it and move one in front of the entrance and one at the end of the house. Now add another cube, scale it to reduce the size and move it up on Z axis. Now scale it again on X axis to increase the length. Scale it is connected with the beam in front of the house. After that, make a link duplicate and move it to the other end of the house. So make some necessary adjustments so it all align and fits. Now make another duplicate and move it to the front and rotate it on 90 degree. Now scale it on Y axis till the length fits with the beam in front of the house. Next, let's beautify this by adding a UV sphere. Scale it to reduce the size and move it right up on the beam. Scale it till it fits, then shade it smooth. Now make link duplicate and place it on the other beam. Now let's select this cube and make another duplicate and move it right down. Now move to the other side and make a duplicate. I'll just make some little adjustments right here. Now let's make the spindle. So add another cube, scale it to reduce the size and scale it on X and Y axis to give it a very thin look and place it right under the handrail. And I'm just going to move this railing a bit away from the entrance. Now this is better. So let's add our array modifier. Increase the number of counts and on factor S change it to 0 and set it to 4 on factor Y so the spaces in between the spindles are even and not too close together. Now let's make a duplicate for the other part. So make a link duplicate and rotate on 90 degrees and place it right where it should be. Reduce the count in the array modifier to get the right size, and now let's duplicate the hand railings and bring it down. Next, make another duplicate and move it to the other side of the house. Moving on, let's make a low poly plant using a UV sphere. So add a UV sphere, make a duplicate and reduce its size and place it right by the corner of the big UV sphere. So select all and shade it smooth, and select one of the UV sphere by the side and rotate it, and do the same for the other side. Now select all three and Ctrl J to join, make a duplicate, increase the size and rotate it a bit so it looks different. Now go ahead and make more duplicates, scale the sizes and place them randomly. Now let's add the plane to serve as the ground base for the house. So just scale it to cover the, the scene. Now tab into edit mode and extrude it downwards on Z axis a bit. Now let's add some little pathways to front of the house. So add a cube and scale it on Z axis to flatten it. Now switch to edit mode, contribute to bevel it and increase the number of segments with your mouse scroll wheel. Tab into object mode and bring it down on Z axis. Now make duplicates. So make link duplicates with Alt D, vary the sizes and arrange them to look more random. After that, let's add some material. So I'll give the plane a green color. We'll reduce the brightness a bit, and for the plants I'll be giving it a darker shade of green. Now for the roof we'll be adding a brick red color, and the house will be giving it a warm beige color. Now the window and the door will be having the same color, which is a gray blue. Now tap into edit mode and select those little faces, click on the plus sign, click on new and assign it a lighter blue color. Now assign the same color to the window. Also select the faces and assign it a lighter color, and this is what we have. So for the railings we'll be giving it a black color, and all part of it will be assigned the same color. Now for the plank, let's give it a warm brown color. And for the pathway, let's give it a sandy color. And finally for the door handle, we're also assigning it a black color. And that's it, our low poly house is ready. Try customizing and share your results. See you in the next project. Thanks for watching.